Thank you very much. Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided indicating the time and place the same in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, advertising notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Here.
Councilman Del Caro. Councilwoman McCain.
Here.
Council President Chesler.
Here.
Here, next, need a motion to go out of executive session, please.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Quick.
Council was in executive session for approximately 30 minutes. The topic of discussion were mostly contractual regarding equipment, purchases, busing, and other contracts, and a personnel matter regarding the CFO.
Thank you. First, I want to apologize to the two gentlemen we're going to be swearing in for not being in a coat and tie, but I'm coaching our Biddy football team. We have football practice tonight, so I came directly from there to here, so threw a coat on, but that was the best I could summon that quickly. So on that note, I'd like to first ask for a motion to adopt a resolution appointing Lou LaFord as a sergeant provisionally in the Lopatcong Township Police Department.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCain.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Steinhardt.
Yes. Sergeant LaFord, if you'd like to come forward with the family.
I will support the solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to the government established in the United States and to the government established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. Under the authority of the people, that I will faithfully impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of sergeant in the police department. All the duties of office of sergeant in the police department, according to the best of my ability. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you.
Next, if I could ask for a motion adopting a resolution approving the hiring of Stephen C. Gabos as police officer pursuant to the Civil Service Certification of Eligibles with an effective date of September 15, 2014.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCain.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Steinhardt.
Yes. Sir?
I, Stephen Gabos, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. And the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States. And to the governments established in the United States and in this state. And in this state under the authority of the people. Under the authority of the people, I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of police officer in the police department. All the duties of this officer, of police officer in the police department according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thank you.
you want to sign? Yeah.
I'd like to congratulate Sergeant LaFord and Officer Gabos. Welcome Tim to the department and the township. I wish you both the best and good health. Thank you. Public comment, folks, on agenda items only.
Joe Imhoff, 240 Aurora Street, Lopatcong. Under new business item 7, can you just give us a brief explanation of what authorizing Title 39 at the new high school site means?
Yes, authorizing Title 39 is the motor vehicle statute. So the enforcement of speeding, parking, any motor vehicle violation that you would have, you would find on a public roadway, can't be enforced on private property. Right now, like the entranceways in and out of Phillipsburg High School, if someone parks illegally or speeds or crashes or whatever happens up there, the police department of Phillipsburg would police it. Right now, in order to enforce any parking infraction or a speeding or do anything else motor vehicle related on the property from the entrance off Belvedere Road up to the high school property would require a resolution from the township empowering the police department to do so based on permission from the property owner. We'll get to that item in a little bit, but it's my understanding, and I was going to tell council this as we got to it, that we're unable to grant that request tonight. And I've actually spoke to Mr. Shando earlier this evening that the SDA presently owns the property, and although we've received a request from Mr. Shando as the superintendent, it would require authorization from the SDA, them asking us to enforce Title 39. And while I recognize the concerns that the district has, and I don't know if you've been up there much, my daughter runs track, so I go up there every day was up there all summer to pick her up and drop her off, and they do have a significant problem with cars stacking up along the entranceway road on both sides, but primarily on the grassed side across in the parking lot to pick up and drop students off for athletic contests, and it's creating a traffic hazard because kids walk out between the cars as opposed to in the crosswalks, and they're difficult to see. It's also restricting an already only 2-lane travel way. But unfortunately, as Mr. Shandel and I both discussed, absent an acknowledgement and a request from the SDA, the township's hands are tied. Any summons that would be written without the property owner's consent would be unenforceable.
And a follow-up to a question that I sent to Council President some time ago. Would the Lopatcong police be enforcing the rules
Yes, sir.
up there?
I mean, we still have a cooperative agreement, in terms of them responding to other problems, but from a motor vehicle perspective, it would be enforced by Lopatcong Police Department.
And do we get compensated by Phillipsburg or
Yes,
the district
there was a
for
municipal
patrolling?
agreement. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Jim.
Do we get compensated as a township for patrolling and enforcing the laws up on that property?
Yes and no. We don't get compensated by anybody other than tax dollars for enforcing the motor vehicle code. That just comes as part and parcel of the duty of being a police officer. We don't pay extra for that other than taxes. However, at the time the municipal agreement was made with the Board of Education, the Phillipsburg Board of Education, now we're going back 10 years or better, to build the school here. Under that agreement, Phillipsburg was required to pay for an added police officer in Lopatcong.
Okay, thank you.
And we we get the ticket money too, obviously. I don't know if that's what you meant, but I think you were more getting at the cost of personnel, right? Not the, okay. Anybody else on agenda items? Okay, moving on then. Under old business, item number 1 is to approve the minutes of the August 6, 2014 meeting. If everyone's had a chance to read and review those, any questions, comments, corrections? Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
I abstain. I wasn't here.
Council President Chesley.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
I'm abstaining too. I wasn't here either.
I think you have to put
Does
it
not
You have to put it off for the next meeting.
Yeah.
It's 2 to 2.
You don't have a
So,
quorum.
2, yeah.
It doesn't count towards the quorum, so you're going to put it on next agenda.
Item number 2 is ordinance number 14-8, second reading and public hearing to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 227 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, including Section 25, to multi-way stop intersections relevant to the intersection of Baltimore Street and South First Street. Based on the conversation I had with Mr. Sturbins earlier today, and some clarification required from the communications he's had with DOT, there's a request from the township engineer to table second reading of item 2 till next meeting. So based on Mr. Sturbins' recommendation, ask for a motion to move item 2 to the next month's meeting.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Yes. Item number 3 is second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 2014-9, capital ordinance to appropriate $26,388.91 out of the capital improvement fund, the general capital fund, to purchase miscellaneous equipment for the fire department. Now, as my notes reflect, I believe this started out as ordinance number 2014-7, which was $15,000 for miscellaneous fire equipment introduced in June of 2014. That was removed from the July 2014 agenda when it was up for second reading and replaced by ordinance 2014-9, first reading for which took place at the $26,388.91 reflected there. The miscellaneous items are 20 fire pagers, 8 nozzles, 6 hose adapters, 2 multi-gas meters, 10 radio batteries, 5 Motorola radios, and 1 bank charger, for a total of $26,388.91. First reading was therefore done last month. Second reading is on tonight's agenda. Motion to open item 3 for public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, questions, comments? Motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion from council? Anybody?
A motion. Motion.
Yeah, second.
Second.
Discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number 1 under new business was approve a payment to Delane Contracting for work completed at the Route 57 pump station project in the amount of $194,921.87 is approved by the USDA. Mr. Sturbins, anything you want to add? Although I do know we had a letter from JMT giving us an update as it related to the pump station project. Paul, anything?
I would refer to that memorandum from Mr. Madden.
Okay, we have a September 3, 2014 update, just giving us a status update and nothing more. There's no commentary from him as relates to the payment other than a status report. Any other questions or comments then related to the interim payment?
Yeah. You may want to make it, just like we did last meeting, make it subject to Mr. Madden's authorization.
Fine.
To make sure that he has seen this payment request and approve of it.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, well, just to be on the safe side, motion subject to Mr. Madden's review and approval.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes, item number 2 is a resolution to award a bid to A&A Curbing, Inc. for the South 3rd Street Improvement Project, the amount of $227,051, I'm sorry. Mr. Sturbin?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Back on August 19th, we received an open bids again for that project. As you may recall, several months ago, we had received an open bids for the identical project. The bids came in very poor. The low bid at that time was about $274,000. Made a decision to rebid the project in hopes of attracting additional bidders. And we also introduced some alternate bid items to try to provide some discretion to the governing body in the award of a contract. Our move, or the governing body's move, paid off because the low bid in this particular case came in $47,000 less for the base bid at $227,051. The low bidder is checked out. We interviewed the low bidder. We also checked their references. This particular low bidder did the work on South 1st Street 2 years ago in 2012 and did a good job on that project. So recommended that you award a contract. One thing I should advise you, we were talking about the supplemental grant application that we had filed last month for South 3rd Street. And I'm happy to report after the meeting, I found that we were funded on that. We received another $120,000. So the township now has $265,000 for this project for the construction phase, which would fund the $227,051 plus all the inspection work now.
Great.
So So, which is a good thing. We can actually even do a little bit more work if we wanted to, because it's all subject to the grant money at this point. But getting back to the main point, I recommended that you award a contract subject to legal review and the availability of funds.
Okay. Based on Mr. Sturban's recommendation, motion item 2.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Trumbull.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number 3 is to approve a quote submitted by LMR for fall cleanup. Questions or comments on fall cleanup?
They were the lowest.
Yes.
Fall cleanup day is scheduled for September 27, 2014, 7 a.m. to noon. The normal locations. So, Pool number 2. okay. Questions or comments on number 3? Motion?
Motion.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Trumbull.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yeah, I'm going to abstain. I did a conflict check today, and LMR is on our client list. So, item number 4 is resolution to approve 2013 audit corrective plan submitted by Ms. Dobes. Ms. Dobes is not here tonight. Everyone should have received a copy.
Yes.
Okay. If anyone has questions for Ms. Dobes, they'll have to look at it on another day. If not, everybody understands it, then we can move on.
Mhm.
All right, so does anyone want to make a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Trumbull.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Item number 5 is to approve the appointments of Tammy Pita and Elizabeth Gittens to the Economic Development Advisory Committee. Any questions or comments on 5?
I do.
Yep.
Did the women both send in, volunteer forms?
Yes.
Or do you happen to have them on you by chance? Any way I can see those?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Ms. Gittens in the audience?
Excuse me?
I don't see her.
She's not here? Okay. Okay. Did she have, I know I was looking at EDAC and you were looking for a, someone with marketing experience and someone with real estate experience. Do either of these women have those qualifications?
Yes, they do.
They do. And it shows it on their, volunteer form?
It shows that they're interested in joining the EDAC. Elizabeth has project management skills, and Tammy has marketing skills.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes. So we have to make a motion?
Oh, yes, sorry. Motion to approve the appointments of Tammy Pita and Elizabeth Gittens to EDAC.
Motion. You may second.
Where are we at? We had,
Second it, so.
somebody made a motion? Somebody seconded? Any more discussion? All right, roll call.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McKay.
Yes.
Council President Trumbull.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes, and number 6 was approved to appointments, is to approve appointments to the Shade Tree Commission. Now, my understanding is the Shade Tree Commission by ordinance requires 5 people. We have 3. That was something that just we figured out today.
Actually, that's statute.
Statute? Our ordinance says 3.
We're doing it by the ordinance, but
Okay.
it was put in place in 1958.
So we need to have to come up with some other bodies.
Yeah.
But tonight, there was a recommendation for a couple people, and I threw a name in. I'm asking for council's approval to appoint Brad Decker, Joe Bickler, and Victor Camperine to the Shade Tree Commission. It's my understanding that neither Mr. Decker nor Mr. Bickler, although they would be doing this as volunteers, submitted volunteer forms, but they were recommended to us by Councilwoman Schneider. That lack notwithstanding. Although having spoken to Mr. Decker, I don't think he knew that he was up for being appointed to the Shade Tree Commission, but he has no problem doing it. Mr. Camperine, most of us in the room know, and had worked on the Shade Tree Commission for years. In fact, sometimes to anyway, he loved the Shade Tree Commission and was happy to have an opportunity to volunteer and be involved in it again. So those are my 3 recommendations. So that's for motion on item 6.
Do you have any comment?
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay, motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion.
I know, Joe and Brad are employees, but I just want to make sure, according to our ordinance and even the state statute, there is no compensation for this,
Correct.
correct?
Oh, no, they're all volunteers.
Okay.
I have another question. Because now the statute has changed and we don't need 3, we now need 5 to 7. The person I had also recommended clearly met that criteria. You advised me to get some volunteers, and I did, and you denied that person.
Yeah.
So we are short now with our members.
Our
I'm
ordinance
sure we'll
right
fight.
now isn't in place, so we'll have to fix the ordinance too. I don't know if we can put,
Yeah, the ordinance.
put the 5 or 7 until we have an ordinance that says that, because right now it says 3, so it's even more confusing, but.
At least we will
Start
get some
getting
people up and
running.
going. So,
Yep. Do you have a reason why my volunteer didn't get picked? She does have the criteria, and no one else
yeah, I
has
really
submitted one.
didn't know her. I know these 3 gentlemen. I know them well. I've worked with Brad, obviously, through the road crew. I've worked with Mr. Bickler through the road crew. I worked with Mr. Camperine for 15 years, and I know and I'm comfortable with them. And the appointments are by devise of the township government, appointments of the mayor, advice and consent of the council. I don't know the person that you recommended, and I was not inclined to make that nomination.
Yep, based on our conversation, you advised me to get volunteers,
I know, and you did. You got 2 out of the 3.
2 employees that were already here.
They were still your choices, and
Yep.
I'm happy to nominate them. Unless you don't want me to, I'll certainly withdraw them and we'll go back to just having Mr. Camperine.
No, that's fine. Did Mr. Camperine fill out a volunteer form?
Nope.
Okay. Is he
You
going
will,
to?
I'm
I have
sure.
no idea. Are you going to get Mr. Decker and Mr. Bickler because they didn't need it?
They don't need to. They are on the, they are employees of the town.
but
They're
this
not
is us.
volunteers.
This is all
They are
volunteers.
volunteers. This is purely a volunteer committee. The residents of the
Yeah.
town being asked to volunteer on the board.
Okay, according to the Shade Tree book here, it says you need a volunteer to, and that would be a volunteer form. The other 2 are considered just employees.
I didn't view it that way. I view them as being volunteers to a committee.
Okay. Well, I can certainly have them fill them out, and we can have Mr. Camperine fill them out as well.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Especially since they're not getting paid, I think they should fill out the volunteer form, just so there's no confusion.
Right.
And if you have, just one more question, you got Brad, Joe, and Victor, right? So that's 3. Right now, the statute says 3. So at this
No,
point,
the ordinance.
I mean, the
only
ordinance says 3.
Statute
So
says 5, so.
at this
Right.
point in time, Donna's just a council liaison. So now if you go to the commission shall consist of not less than 5 nor more than 7. It may not include more than 2 alternate members. So then at that point, can Donna be the 4th?
No, it's a conflict.
Council liaison.
So she still has to be the liaison. So
We'll
the
have 2 more people by the
commission,
next
okay. So then the commission itself will be voting on everything, sort of like I am to the LAA. I don't actually, okay,
Does-
all right.
Is Vic also aware of the classes that he needs to register and go down for and drive to Cherry Hill? Is he aware of those classes and he's willing to take them?
Only the 4 people have to go and take that.
No, they still need the credits as well.
I don't think the whole Shade Tree does, but I'll look into it. Hold on.
The core, one of our employees, Joe Bickler, is core trained, but he has no credits. And I don't know if Vic is core trained, and if he isn't, then he needs to spend 2 days down in Cherry Hill. And if he is core trained, he needs to spend 1 day in Cherry Hill.
If there's something required of him, I'm sure he can handle it. If he can, he can always tell me he doesn't want to, and I'll have to find somebody else. But as of today, he was interested.
Okay, the reservation for the hotel, September 23rd. Okay.
Anything else?
Would he already have been core trained? He was on it for years.
Years ago. he
Yeah.
could have been.
Right, but he still needs the credits, not the core.
We'll figure it out. Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Discussion's closed. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe,
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Yes. Number 7 is to authorize Title 39, Motor Vehicle and Traffic Regulations to the Phillipsburg Athletic Complex as requested by George Shando, Superintendent of the Phillipsburg School District. As I indicated to Mr. Imhoff earlier, we did have a letter request from Superintendent Shando asking that the township adopt a resolution granting Title 39 enforcement on the new high school property. However, After having reviewed that letter and discussed the matter with Mr. Shando, it became apparent that the SDA has not yet made that request either through Mr. Shando or to the township directly. Therefore, absent that consent of the quote-unquote landowner, any motor vehicle summons that might be issued by the township police would be unenforceable. Therefore, it's my recommendation to council that we reject that request at this time, and that that rejection be accompanied by a letter explaining the reasons why the township does not have the authority to grant such a resolution, but to acknowledge further the safety concerns that we as a township have for the students and the guests using the school property, hopefully, if for no other reason than to get the SDA to listen up and pay attention to the appeals of the school district to ensure greater traffic safety for guests to that property. So, motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
This is actually on the school property, so once you turn into the path.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Chesler?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes, item 8 is a resolution authorizing a second treatment works approval permit application, TWA A1 for the Lock Street Apartments, Block 102, Lot 1.1. Paul, you want to add anything?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. At this particular apartment complex on Lock Street, there is a septic system replacement proposed. Due to the fact that certain aspects of the design do not comply with the New Jersey Administrative Code, the design has to be reviewed by the state of New Jersey as opposed to the Warren County Health Department. And as part of that, there's certain applications that have to be filed with the state and certain consents provided by the municipality. So that's why this is here before you tonight. You need to provide a consent for this particular application because the treatment works approval is needed. This is identical to what you had reviewed and approved, I think, approximately 3 years ago. It's the same application. For some reason, the septic system work was not done, as I understand it, so.
Based on Mr. Sturman's recommendation.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Chesler?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Abstain. I believe, based on our discussion, the property owner may be a client of ours. So let's be on the safe side. Okay, moving on. Consent agenda items 1 through 13 reflect recommendations of the tax collector, and also several related to sewer collection as well. Based on Ms. Edinger's recommendation, if everyone's had a chance to read and review those, is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Chesler?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes.
I just have one item I just want to put on the record. The tax assessor had 2 resolutions this evening. Number 13 is hers. The other one I couldn't list because the correction wasn't included on her resolution.
Oh, okay. So we can only- all right.
Okay.
So I have to wait till next month?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Announcements. There's a shred event scheduled for Saturday, September 13, 2014 from 9 a.m. to noon. Where?
Oh, it's at the pool.
Okay.
Cool.
At the pool, and a fall cleanup day is scheduled for Saturday, September 27, 2014, 7 a.m. to 12 noon, as we described previously at the Firehouse number 2 up on Strikers Road and also at the pool. Council reports. Ms. Schneider?
Okay, first report is for Shade Tree. I have everyone has a copy of a complaint that was sent in by a resident regarding some tree plantings that are on township property. Paul and I did go out on separate occasions to look at the properties, and Paul, I believe, did a survey, put a stick in the ground showing the property lines, and the trees are clearly on the township property.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
just want to clarify that my understanding was it wasn't on township property, but it's in our right of way.
Yeah, I think
It's in the Park Avenue right of way.
Okay.
Which is private.
We may have a right of way, but I don't think we own the land.
When Paul and I talked about that, from what I remember from our conversations, it is our land. Is that correct, Paul, or is it something?
It's a right of way.
Yeah, right away,
Which means-
it gives us legal right to use over somebody else's property. We may not own the land. Give you an example would be like if you own a piece of property and there's a power line that runs through it.
Mhm.
The power line company has a right of way or an easement to use it's still your property. You might be required to maintain it, but they have a right to run their power lines across your land or something to that effect. So the
Okay.
easiest one I can think of. I think we have a right of way there, which may or may not have any, implications insofar as what you're describing, but I don't think we actually own the property. The property is owned by somebody else. But anyway, I
Okay.
didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think
That's
it's
okay.
significant when we get to that.
So I guess then if the property is owned by someone else, do we know who that someone else is?
It's the adjacent property owner, the homeowner whose property. Typically, when you own a piece of property, although there's a certain neighborhoods in Lopatcong I found are different, but typically when you own the property, you own it to the center line of the road. So that doesn't mean you're allowed to do what you want with the road and the area around it. So the town
Okay.
has the right to use it and do it for those things. But typically, if you look at most surveys, people own to the center line of the road. So whoever's property is on that side of the road,
Mhm.
this is probably whoever's. It's probably
Yes, is this their map? Or is it somebody?
This is Mr. Coleman's,
Like he prepared this.
that he prepared, and I guess he was basing it on where the property line is, where the stake was put out for the property line. It's, I didn't know that right-of-ways were owned by someone else, so I guess we need to find out who owns that property and if they gave them permission to do that. Is that what the next step would be for that?
Yeah.
Complaints?
The land first.
Okay.
This is where the trees are.
And how would I go about finding that out?
If they have if they have surveys, and you give them to Paul.
I think the Dardens have a survey, Donna,
Yeah, if we can-
because I met with the
either one of
Dardens.
them has a survey, Paul can look at it. He'll be able to tell us whose property it is.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way.
Okay, so I will get back to Mr. Coleman, letting him know we're going to find out who owns it and if permission was granted.
We'll ask the Dardens for theirs.
Okay. Okay.
So-
But his land is probably the same. If his goes to the center line and has a right of way through it, theirs is probably exactly the same.
Yeah, he doesn't have a right of way. It's right.
Just in that one.
Yeah, it's just in that one
Okay.
right of way for the
Okay.
residents.
Survey should solve the problem. One of them's got to have one.
And
Sure.
just so you know, we get this issue a lot. People will call up and say, the tree's in the right of way, you have to cut it down. And I write them a letter and I say, no, that's actually your tree. It's in the right of way, so we could make you cut it down, but we have no obligation to cut that tree down. So, and then when people say, no, it's your tree, and we go back and forth, I ask them, please bring in your survey, and then I show them that it's actually on their property. But I have had one occasion in at least one neighborhood where their property line actually did stop before the sidewalk. And it was a weird
Mhm.
anomaly, but that's not the same. So and then the town did own that tree, but in this
Okay.
case, typically it goes to the center line. So if they have a survey, that'll clear it right up.
Okay, I'll get a copy of the survey.
Thanks for saying.
Thank you. Okay, so shade tree, yes, so we talked about that, and the conference is coming up. So we need to get some folks registered for that.
Okay.
DPW, the Mason dump truck has been purchased, and we don't know if it's being built or not yet, so we don't know when that will come in. The little Mason dump truck that Brian had requested some repairs on that is actually being repaired right now, being built. Unfortunately, our truck 16, that's one of our big trucks used for plowing, salting, leaves, that one has been red tagged, meaning it's unsafe and you cannot drive it on the roads. It did not pass the inspection. So we now have a truck that's totally unusable. So we were hoping to get an extra truck. What we did is got an extra one and lost one, unfortunately. We talked about the shredding event. Board of Education, they hired a literacy consultant to help institute some new programs and educate some teachers in its implementation. Her name is Sarah Buxton. And there's some Warren County Special Service folks for the interim child study team supervisor. Also, school starts tomorrow, and I want to wish everyone, Board of Education, administration, teachers, parents, students, everybody to have a safe and great year, and hooray for the parents right now.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Cave.
Okay,
EDAC update. The members of the EDAC committee and I have been working with local businesses. We are planning on rolling out a discount type of a card. So we've been meeting with some businesses, and some are on board to offer discounts to the residents or to whoever purchases the card. We're still finalizing the details of those. We have some that are already interested, and we still want to approach a few others. So we hope to get that done hopefully within this month and finalize the details. Secondly, I'm working on shared services. We are looking at the tax assessor position. It's a work in progress. We're looking at either trying to share our tax assessor with other towns or sharing other towns' tax assessor with us. And again, we're working on that and trying to get some numbers and to see what would benefit us the best. We did not have a planning board meeting last month, and I would like to say Community Day this past Saturday I attended, and I want to thank Lori Chesla and the members of the Recreation Committee for putting all that work to putting that together and putting up a great event for the residents. It was very nice, and the fireworks were lovely, and it's great that we have a town that still, you know, goes out to this event and brings us all together. It was very nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. King. That's it. It's just.
Okay, I'll start with, Lou gave me an update for his council report. He wanted us to know that the pump station is scheduled to be completed middle of November. Originally it was supposed to be October, but they ran into a huge rock that delayed the project by 2 weeks. Apparently they needed explosives to remove it. But that'll be finished in November, and then soon they'll be moving up Baltimore to tie into Roseberry Street's line. As far as my report, Community Day was a success. We tried a few new activities this year, and we will see which worked out best and begin planning for next year. Many thanks to my wonderful committee that was there all day with me, including two of them that are in the back there. The DPW, my family, my friends, my committee. We spent many nights for many months planning this event, and I couldn't have done it without them. We also have some other events that we want to try to have before the year is up. One of those is we wanted to try to have a community yard sale up at the pavilion for those that don't live in a big development. There's Warren County Health Department is having a health and wellness fair up at the pavilion on September 27th, which also happens to be the same day as town cleanup, so we're trying to get something together on that day. In line with that, we have, again, the county is having another event on September 27th, this time at Warren Tech High School. What they're doing is it's a senior expo. They're having tons of businesses and hospitals and you know, things like Philsburg MRI up there for the seniors. What we wanted to do, because not everybody likes to drive up 57, is we wanted to rent a bus for our residents. We could fit up to 48 seniors. We would have them picked up at the pavilion so they could actually check out the health and wellness fair there, and then they'd be bused up to Warren Tech. They could spend some time at the senior expo, and then they'd be bused back. We had some quotes. The lowest was $375, and that will bring them up there at 10 and bring them back at 2. And we can fit 48. So I'd like to make a motion to look into renting the bus for that day.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion. Welcome.
Councilwoman Schneider.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe.
Yes.
Council President Chesler.
Yes.
Mayor Snyder.
Yes.
After that, okay. The LAA, their golf outing was a success thanks to all that attended or donated. This is a big fundraiser for them. Also, football season has started, and last weekend all levels won their first game, so we're very proud of them. Soccer will be starting this week, and we hope all the teams have a great season there too. Basketball and wrestling signups should be starting very soon. For technology, we had put out a survey, and we had about 100 responses to our survey, which I think was a really good turnout. A few of them put in some really great ideas in the comments. Some of the highlights, people definitely want email notifications the most, and then next level, they wanted both text and email. So I'm actually working on that with Brad Decker. They wanted to be notified for emergencies and community events the most, but they also wanted to be reminded to pay their taxes, their sewer bill, and their dog licenses. And as far as online payments, 71% are interested in paying their sewer bill online, and that's definitely myself as well. So currently, the tax collector and I are looking at 3 vendors now. We're looking to see which one has the best cost for the township, for the residents, and also ease of use for our staff. We want to make sure that this isn't a huge burden on them to upload these files and everything to our database. So Rachel and I are going to be working on that in the upcoming months. And one of the other questions was, do you want a newsletter? 91% do. So I think we definitely want to move forward on that. So I'd actually like to make a motion to start a newsletter subcommittee.
Sure. Second?
Discussion.
Who will choose who is on the newsletter committee, subcommittee?
That would probably be
Me.
Yeah.
So anybody who's interested, I mean, I'm not going to do it today.
Yeah, not today. We have to we'll get you more details.
And is that for residents, or are you asking, or is that council?
At this
involved
point,
in
it would
that?
probably just be council, just to look at some of the, we have a few options. We'd have to figure out first how to do it. And then once we get it started, we couldn't have residents involved if the need be. Again, the information in the newsletter would be from the township, not from the residents' perspective. So it wouldn't be, it would be input from the township as far as like departments and everything that's going on.
Okay, is that monthly? Are you thinking monthly?
Probably
Fine.
monthly.
Monthly, okay.
But there's a
And,
few options. You could actually have somebody do it for you, and you could get sponsors to pay for it, and they would even edit your articles for you, or you could just go old school and we could do it ourselves and just email it out to people. So we would have to look at all the different options.
and how much postage are we talking about a month for a newsletter?
If it was sponsored by somebody, we would actually mail it. Otherwise, we would not. It would be emailed online, and you could pick up a copy here,
Okay, so no mailings would be
unless we
going,
can get it paid for by
Unless it's
sponsors. At least that would be my recommendation.
okay. And are there going to be some bylaws, on what is going into this newsletter?
Yeah, once we get, the subcommittee can work on that as well.
Okay, and, okay, so, when do we just put in our request to you, Doug, to be on this newsletter subcommittee? Okay, and how many people from council are you taking?
You can only take
I
two.
always take 2.
Okay, and Lori's the first person?
She hasn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
Since it ties into technology. Otherwise, you just answer.
okay. And if you're not chosen to be on the newsletter, then how do we,
We're all gonna have to.
Yeah, everybody would have
Last
input.
month's meeting, and I understand where you're coming from. So, you know, obviously, from my perspective, if you guys are gonna do a newsletter, you should be pulling in information from all the various, you know, groups and stuff in town. If the LEA's got something going
Right.
on, or if the school's got something
Mhm.
going on, and they're not putting out monthly newsletters, or if you name it, the Shade Tree Commission's got, every one of you that has a committee should have some input. If every one of you wants a little column to write or something, I mean, if you're gonna put out a newsletter, it should be a collaborative effort from everybody, or everybody, you know, one person may edit it, but all 5 of you, whoever's, you know, here after
Every
that,
department.
should have their, you know, 2 cents. Otherwise, it sort of defeats the purpose.
right, because the residents are assuming a newsletter from the township is including everyone on town council. And I would hope that also a recommendation would be not to have opinionated articles or news posted in them, the actual news, and not anything other than innocuous information.
I would assume, that's what I can't imagine. Yeah, you wouldn't put opinions in there.
Well, we put them
I
on
mean,
our
unless the
website.
mayor wanted to write up something, kind of like they do in the PTA newsletter. I mean, I think she
Mhm.
puts her opinions in there. I think the mayor is entitled to write a letter every single year.
Right,
whether or
that would
not
be
he
his own
expresses his
personal,
opinions,
right,
yeah.
that's his own
Mhm.
personal letter. It's
Yeah.
not coming from the council.
Right.
But we do write opinionated things on our website, so I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Again, I think the purpose, I think what I understood Lori to be asking by way of a motion is to create a committee.
Right.
Who's going to start collecting thoughts and ideas. The rest of us will all, once that's done, since that committee's that's not binding on the rest of us, we're all gonna have our chance to review what their recommendations are and have our 2 cents.
I just like to know all the information before I say, give a vote for that.
Again, all we're
So,
voting for is a committee to
To put together,
put a
to
plan
research it.
together.
Yeah, not to
I'm
actually
I
do
know,
it.
I can tell you right now,
Okay.
I'm not gonna be on it, but I'm still gonna
Right.
I'm still gonna tell you what I think, when they're done. And you guys do with it what you want, because I would hope that all 5 of us would do.
okay,
I don't know where we were.
Or the 5 of us may decide after we see what the recommendations are, we don't want to have it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe quarterly, not monthly.
Right, yeah, we need to work all that out first.
Yes, absolutely.
A
Okay,
lot of logistics first.
okay.
I made a motion, Maureen seconded, so we need to vote.
Councilwoman Schneider?
I'm gonna, I really don't want to vote on this right now. I'm unsure. I still need some more information about it. And, I don't know how to go about doing that right now. Do I abstain?
Sure.
I'm just gonna abstain right now. I don't want to give an answer to that.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Chesley?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes.
All right, there you go, got that. The CFO, our application for a new CFO has closed. We have many applicants. We actually are starting a committee to go through the applicants. We have to weed out who doesn't actually have their required qualifications, and then from that point, the committee will do some preliminary interviews, and we'll narrow it down to a pool, and then the whole council will interview for our new CFO, and we will be working with our current CFO on this. I believe you're going to make a motion for the committee?
I don't need to make a motion.
Right.
I'm just going to appoint a committee.
Okay.
We don't need to make a motion to appoint a committee to do it. I just will create a committee of two. I'm going to ask Ms. McCabe and Mr. Belcaro, only because if you're going to work on the other one, and that Donna's probably going to be interested in doing that too. So let's keep things broken up. Let's have the CFO committee work through Mr. Belcaro and Ms. McCabe and Ms. Dobbs.
Yes.
What else?
That's it.
For me, what do I got, we have to cancel an ordinance, 2010-14-10. Last meeting, it's my understanding, the ordinance was adopted at first reading to deal with a $150,000 purchase of a fire truck, just as a safety net in the event there was issue with $150,000. $185,000, yeah. Because originally it was 200, then it was reduced to 185. There's a recommendation made to adopt it for first reading as well, in the event that the auditor took issue with the fact that there was a 15,000 reduction between first and second reading. That issue has since rendered that. The answer to that has since rendered that first reading moot. But we need to do a motion to rescind ordinance 2014-10. So. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Chesley?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes, and also for my review of last month's minutes, there was some dialogue by Ms. James about the fireworks from the other night and how they were going to be paid for, whether or not they were donated or coming from the town. The town had to enter into a contract because the private resident could not do so. But the $5,000 for the fireworks were in fact donated by my wife and me. I have the check for Lori tonight, so there's your that. So next meeting, there should be an item on the agenda to transfer those funds. The 159 transfer to the township. So they were paid for entirely by donated funds, not from the township's coffers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's see. Council reports. That's it for council reports. Tax collector's not here. CFO's not here. Mr. Sturbins?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to advise the council that the governor recently announced the NJDOT Municipal Aid Grant Program for fiscal year 2015. Interested municipalities have until October 14th to file a grant application. Question is for the governing body is, do you want to file an application again for fiscal year 2015? Our last application, which was not funded, was for South 2nd Street, which is located between the two streets that were funded. It did score very well last year. It would not be a big lift to actually resubmit that. So I wanted to see if you were interested in doing that or another roadway. And if you are, I'll have a resolution for the next meeting.
I think you absolutely should submit it again.
Isn't it typical that they kind of every other year is when you kind of get approval? We'll deny you last year and they'll approve you this year.
Yes,
So just because
They
we
like
were
to-
denied last year on that.
to spread the wealth.
Well, plus we don't have to go through this expense of doing it all over again. I mean, partially, but not completely. So
Thank you. I'll get that done for you.
Which part, the municipal
The DOT has a municipal aid component within the Transportation Trust Fund, and the purpose of that is to provide grant monies to municipalities and counties to do road projects in municipalities and counties. So, and it's awarded by grant, and municipalities and counties have to submit grant applications to vie for that money.
Do we have another street we could put in? I mean, would it
Probably
be
know the
worthwhile
the streets
to,
are the worst.
is this one sort of?
I think these roads back here are very bad.
Well, I think part of Paul's point was, one, it warranted submission last time,
Mhm.
and it hasn't gotten better in the year since we did it last time. Secondly, Paul needs to prepare the application. There's a cost associated with him doing so, so we don't need to, there's less work involved with him resubmitting that one and just updating it. There is creating an entire new application. And lastly, since it rated high, Paul's words, last time, again, it's more likely that we have a shot at doing that than we do coming up with another road that may not rate as high this time. Although on the other side of the coin, it could be better. I don't know, but at least that's what I heard Paul say. So it's for that reason that I'm swayed by his recommendation.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Motion?
Motion.
Second Street, right?
Mhm.
Second,
Joseph.
Second.
discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Jessen?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes. Mr. Sturbins, anything else?
No, Mayor, thank
Motion to
you.
approve department reports?
Motion.
No, second.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Jessen?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes. Pay bills? Motion?
Motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Schneider?
Yes.
McCabe?
Yes.
Council President Jessen?
Yes.
Mayor Snyder?
Yes. Folks, questions, comments?
Joe Imhoff, 240 Aurora Street. About a month ago, so I got a letter from, something in the mail from Rachel, and she said, pay your taxes. And then I got a township newsletter from council, I assume, and basically you said to me, not our fault. It says, did you know that the majority of your tax bill is not controlled or used by the township? For 82% of your bill, we are just the collector and send it on to the county or the school district. The municipality only uses 18%. Now, I don't really think that's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And I'll explain why. Over the 9 years, and I was upset enough to go back and pull tax records since 2006. In 9 years, the county tax went up 17.56%, about 2% a year. The library tax went down. Open space tax went down. The school tax over 9 years went up 8.2%, about 1% a year. The municipal open space tax went down 23%. But the local municipal Lopatcong, that 18% that you talked about in the newsletter, that went up in 9 years 143.22%. Now that's just on my tax bill. I don't think I'm too much different than the rest of the folks here that are paying their taxes.
We reassessed at least once.
Excuse me?
Well, we reassessed at least once. I think we also did a reval in there too.
You know, can I finish?
Sure,
Thank you.
but that's not accurate, Joe. If we're gonna.
The local tax-
The whole truth and.
The local tax back in 2006 accounted for 8.56% of the total tax bill. 8.56. Now it accounts for, at least on my tax bill, 17.35%. Where the total tax bill to me went up 20.07% in 9 years, the municipal tax, as I just said, went up 143%. 61% of the total increase in my tax bill over 8 years was just the municipal portion of the tax bill. Now, from 2006 to 2007, it went up 5.6%. to 2008, it went up 12.37%. From 8 to 9, it went up 9.35%. In 2010, it went up 11.22%. In 2011, it was a bargain year. It only went up 3.78%. The following year, of course, in 2012, it went up 23.5%. In 2013, 15.29%. In 2014, it went up 11.40%. Now, I don't know if we're talking revaluations or assessments or what, but dollars are dollars. I didn't see my Social Security benefits going up 143% in 9 years. Now, I'm really talking to the wrong people because the only person that has been on this council over the past 9 years has been Mayor Steinhardt. And as much as we've heard how much Council President Camperine has saved money by having free bushes planted, including labor at the Township Municipal Building, and signs put up welcoming everybody to the township that we've had our vendors paying for, costs must be out of control. Something needs to be done. And you ladies that were elected here, basically with the philosophy of there must be change, there must be change. Something's got to be done. This is too much. This is a lot of money that's going out, and I don't think we're seeing anything for it. My 5 minutes are probably up.
That's okay. Come back next month. Just rest assured that we'll be prepared to respond to your numbers.
I just want to comment. I don't know if you were here last month or if you read our last month's meeting minutes and what Doug was referring to before about reading the minutes. I had no input in that letter whatsoever.
I don't know.
That newsletter that you have in your hand,
Yes.
I had no input in that letter
Yeah, I don't
whatsoever.
think you did.
So I just want to make that clear. That's not coming from myself.
Okay. Thank you.
Next. Yes.
I just wanted to ask a little bit about the Shade Tree Commission appointments that were discussed earlier, because I think I'm familiar with the person who you had denied.
Well, you can make a comment.
Okay, well, I'll make a comment. I believe that she sits here month after month after month. So I'm surprised that you don't know who she is, but that's not really what the statement I'd like to make is. It's my understanding based on the conversation that you're in need of people to be on that commission, and you have recommendations from a councilwoman. Now, you may not know that person, but she may well be very suited for the position. So wouldn't it be responsible to maybe bring that person in, to familiarize yourself with them, give them a chance? You have someone who's been recommended by a councilwoman, and you have a space that needs filling. There could be very talented, very skilled people throughout this township who wouldn't get a chance to bring those skills and put them to good use for our community simply because they don't know you personally. That seems like it's a disadvantage for our township, and you can talk to her instead of visiting with me, but that was my opinion.
Okay, thanks. Other comments? I guess I'll answer that by saying this. Just because she recommends somebody, she being a Snyder, doesn't mean they're going to get appointed. She could have recommended you, Juniper, but I wouldn't have appointed you either. Okay. Anybody else? Questions, comments?
Diane Hall, 187 Stonehenge Drive. Hi. As of 7:25 tonight, this solar farm is a disgrace. I believe I said this in May. I'm back from the summer, and I'm still complaining. Every other business has to keep their lawn cut. I just want it cleaned up. It looks horrible. I don't know if you've been down Strikers Road or not. But whatever you did last time, Paul, could you do it again? Because it's a disgrace to our community. Okay.
Is there any way to hold them accountable for this so Ms. Hall doesn't have to come up here month after month and ask for the same thing? I totally agree. It does look like it's in shambles all the time.
I mean, let me backtrack on that question. Good idea. But are they I know it's a green thing, but are they subject to the same thing that the businesses are in there?
Yeah, and we
I mean, it
actually
is
have-
industrial area,
They
but
gave us a bond too, so if they neglect the property, we can execute the bond. And Paul, we discussed it a few meetings ago.
Well, this is
Right,
really
right.
standard property maintenance. Every property owner should be cutting their lawn and maintaining their shrubs and bushes and so on and so forth. They shouldn't be allowing them to go in disrepair.
Because I believe, I might be wrong in this, I think it was the May meeting that I brought this up. And I believe it was something about the water and they were waiting for everything to grow in and stuff. But
We're well past that.
Yeah.
That was all addressed. This is just standard property maintenance, and you're just not doing it from what you're saying. So I have to call the project manager.
I did, I went by just before coming to the meeting.
Okay.
That's why I said as of 7:25 tonight. Okay.
I will call tomorrow.
And I want to thank you for Community Day. My granddaughter won a duck, so, and thank you for the fireworks.
Yep.
To tie up what she was asking about.
When it come up.
Bruce Hall, 187 Stonehenge Drive. Does this also address the property, not only from the curb to the fence, but the interior of the property? Because even where the panels are, it's just overgrown horrendously. So I don't know if we have that jurisdiction. I would think we would.
I have to take a look with respect to the area within the fencing. There is a maintenance plan for that, and they planted low maintenance seed mix. So the intent would be to mow that less and allow that to grow up.
It's always.
So, but I think the area outside the fence is not subject to that, and that's normal everyday maintenance. It should be, the area should be cut every week, so.
By the way, for Joe.
Thank you.
Good evening, Olszewski, Highlands Way. Shade tree stuff. Sometimes I just don't know. In a time when volunteers are sparse, not to even listen or interview is something I find, I don't know, arrogant at best. To sit here to chastise Donna that she does not find enough volunteers, but the one she would bring forward you don't like, not offering any reasons. I would like if you can offer us some insight, since you voted for Tammy, and if you can share to the public who these people are, because you don't know that one. I doubt you know the others. Yeah, I know you don't. For the Economic Development Commission, I would like to say, you guys are 8 people right now. You work on that stuff 7 months, I believe, and regurgitating something which was suggested to you last year with the Shop Marlboro program, which was a discount card, which
I don't
was.
know what you're talking about.
No, I know you
You didn't
don't.
suggest it to me. This is a different.
That is the outcome of 7 months. I find that pathetic. You guys have a good evening, all right?
Anybody else time? Questions, comments?
Go ahead.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have something too.
Hello, I'm Tammy Pita, just so you can
Hi,
know
thanks.
who I am.
Thank you.
I welcome you guys to ask me any questions about marketing. I have 25 years experience, so if you have any questions, you
Great,
can ask me.
thank you.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
Any other questions, council, public?
I have 2 comments before we wrap up. The March 11th meeting minutes and video I asked for last month to be put up on the,
Going as fast as I can. I had community day, so and I was on vacation and sent my son back to college, so going as fast as I can.
yeah, I'm just, July, August was put up, June was put up.
I know I have to sort through all my emails to see if Beth already sent it to me. And it's a very time-consuming process, and like I said, I'm getting to them.
Can Beth not resend it? You can't ask her for another resend?
I can when I get to it.
Well, yeah, because,
I know, Donna, but I'm doing it for free in my spare time right now. And I had community day.
yes,
And Doug and Maureen and Lou all helped me, and I thank them for that, but there was a lot of work.
yes, I
And
understand
I was on
that.
vacation.
Mhm.
We'll get up on the ready.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was March, and when I questioned you last month, you said, if I can find them. It wasn't a, yes, I will do it, I have to find them. It was, if I can find them, and if we still have the video.
Donna, I said I will do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Also, from that March 11th meeting, this is now the 3rd time I'm asking you produced a document and gave it to Doug about the savings with the administrator. And I asked for a copy that night. I didn't get it. I asked for a copy Last month? No,
No, it's
Lori
not my
gave you the
document.
document. Well, whenever you produced it and you
I
said
did not
you,
produce it. The
Okay.
office produced it.
but at the meeting you produced
I
it.
know, it was the one and only copy I have. It's way too big for me to copy. You have to get it from that.
I asked, this is now the third time I'm asking for that.
I don't know that's a public record.
It's not at this point.
It was produced at the meeting. It should be a public record and
It's on the public record if it's made and maintained by the town. I mean, I don't know what document we're talking about.
But why, when you said you would produce it, you said, yes, I'll get you a copy. Then you told me again, I would get a copy. Now it's changed that I can't see the copy.
I don't have something to give you. I gave mine to Doug. That was the only copy. It's huge. I can't copy it myself. I don't have a
Well, I'll have
copier
to
like
check
that.
see if I have something.
Okay, and
I can't promise you that I do.
I was also informed that there was another one that is an updated one. That was from last month as well. I was told that there was an updated one. So where is that one?
No, I think
But
what
I
was
said if
it's
that one
outdated.
had to be updated, it's outdated.
Okay, and in the minutes it says there's an updated copy.
No, it doesn't say that.
Okay, I'll look at the minutes again. But, if the document was produced, if I can see contractual things and legal things, I should be able to see a document that shows that a savings to the town.
Okay, if someone was given to me, I'll certainly
Yeah.
look for it. I can't promise you that I have it. I don't necessarily keep all that stuff. I don't think it will. I'm not even 100% sure what you're talking about, but
Yeah, I don't have a soft
somebody will
copy.
tell me what it is.
I only had a hard.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. It was a document that Lori gave to you, and it was showing that her analysis of that, all the work she did to show that the administrator saves the town $500,000.
It wasn't my analysis.
That's not what the document shows.
Okay, but that's what was
Very
brought,
big
and you said,
spreadsheet
yes.
On like 8 by, I don't even know what it is, 8 by 14
I'll
or
check and see
larger,
if I
yeah.
can. I probably will check. Sorry, I wasn't here last month for the discussion, so I didn't know. Okay.
Like I said, I don't have a soft copy, so I.
Anybody else in the public have any questions or comments? All right, let's go to that.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.